Okay, so here we are. It's MARSH ENGLE with Amazing Woman Get It Done. So grateful to be here with you today. You know, what's been on my mind lately is that we are moving through and into a brand new dimension of our definition of success, the way we create our sacred purpose, the way we connect with it. And 3 words came up because when I work with clients on finding and living their sacred purpose, it's always around the fear, the faith, and the focus. And I could not think of anybody better than DeLores Pressley to invite on to talk about fear, faith, and focus. And when I think of DeLores Pressley, I'm just going to say to you, DeLores, that I look to you for that connection with faith. I look to you for that connection to inspiration. And that's whenever I follow you on Facebook and I go to your page and look up what are you talking about today. I always step away from that experience with greater faith and greater sense of purpose, greater inspiration. And today also, I thought we would talk about enthusiasm and how does that play into stepping out into the world. So just talk to me a little bit about you personally moving through this experience that we've been moving through for the last 2-3 months of, I call it isolation because it really feels like isolation to me. I know it's a stay at home, be safe, but it does feel like a big difference than what possibly I know. You travel the world speaking. It's a big difference.
It's just an experience that no one has had before. I mean, we're all on the same playing field. Doesn't matter who you are. You can be a celebrity, whatever. We're all on the same playing field. And it's a lot to deal with because it's something we've never, ever experienced. But we can do well in the midst of it. And you're right, on my Facebook posts, I'm always asking things like, okay, what's something good that has happened to you in the midst of COVID-19? And I want people to know that good always travels with bad. So no matter what you're going through, how you're feeling, there is something good in there. So now we have COVID. What's good? My husband's loving it. He said, I've cooked more in the last 2 months than I have in the 40-something years we've been married. Okay. So I'm spending a lot more time with my husband, gaining weight. But anyway, we'll deal with that later. But really being with him, it's just been really, really wonderful, really wonderful. So there are a lot of good things. I'm not spending as much money because I like nice things. Well, you can't go to the mall, you can't buy. So I'm like, wow, you know, there is good with bad. It's there. You have to look for it.
Yeah, my son said the other day, he said, Mom, I bet the Americana is really missing you. The Americana is a big outdoor shopping venue. That's the area that I live in, Pasadena. It's in Glendale. And he said, I bet the people over at the Americana are really missing you. And I thought, well, I think they're missing a lot of people because I don't even know that it's open right now. But a lot of change. You know, I'm fortunate enough to live near my son and my daughter in love, I call her, and my grandbaby, my brand new grandbaby that's only a year and a half old. And that really, really keeps me grounded, having him around. And he reminds me that joy can be found even in the most incredible of circumstances, and just keep the focus where it needs to be, and that's on joy.
That is so true. That is so true. And Marsh, we also have to kind of like tune our mindset. And what do I mean by that? Sort of like in the old days, not as many cars now, but you had to get it tune up so it would perform better. So we have to look at everything in a total different way because your mindset is the key to success, no doubt about it. Because if you get that stinking thinking and all of that, instead of saying, you know, I don't have any money because of what's going on, you can change the way you think about that and say, I have many more opportunities now. I need to create a business, or whatever ways can I create it, but look at it in a different way.
Recreate it.
Yes, recreate it. And
talking about, I love the mindset conversation because one of the things, you know, our first word for the day would be fear. And I think we've all experienced fear. We're experiencing it in new ways. We're experiencing it in ways that maybe we've never experienced it before. Talk to me about a couple of pointers to be able to bring ourselves out of fear and back into focus.
We've probably heard before that fear can stand for false evidence appearing real. When you think about the majority of things that we worry about, it doesn't even come to fruition. And God bless my mother's soul, but she was a worrier. And she's like, DeLores, where did you come from? Because I'm like, Mom, what is the worrying going to do? worrying about something, does that help it get better? And she'd be like, no, DeLores. Well, I'm telling our audience, worrying's not going to change one thing. Worrying is just going to affect you. So we change that mindset. I really think about that all the time, about fear. We cannot fear. And you talk about faith. Yes, DeLores Pressley is a real big believer in faith. And I don't know, I believe in God, but I don't know what you call your higher power, but I know that there is a higher power. And that higher power can help you with your fears for sure.
I just listened to a podcast today about grace, and it was so moving because it's really about letting go of the way things have been and opening up to the grace of the way things can become, and do that from a place of faith or of grace, and understand that it can move through us and direct us, inspire us, create more creativity around an old idea maybe that we want to bring back out again, or a new way of doing things, a new way of creating. Many, and I called it this myself early on, is pivoting into a new direction when it was necessary. And the quicker we can pivot, it seems to me, the more effective it becomes for us to land on our feet. When I think she was talking about, or I heard today, landing on our knees, actually in our sense of grace, and surrendering and being open to those new ideas in a way that maybe we had not thought of before, and allowing Spirit to speak through us and inspire us to move forward. What are your thoughts on grace?
Oh, grace is so important. I just thank God for grace, because no matter what you've done, what you've been doing in your life, what you've gone through, you can do it again. You can reinvent. And a lot of reinventions are going on right now. A lot.
It feels like it's the perfect time for us to really tune into that with grace, and bring that into the forefront, and think about that and talk about that a lot more than what than we have been ever before, perhaps.
Yes.
Because there is always, it's amazing to me when things aren't, and I love to think that I'm in control. I love to think I've got it out. I love structure in place. Oh, good. Now I know where I'm going. But the truth is, when I'm the most creative, when any of us are the most creative, is when we can allow that spontaneity, when we can allow those new ideas to flow through us, when we can allow new answers, new solutions, new directions, new insights to flow through us. And that's actually, to me, what grace feels like. It feels like stepping aside and allowing a higher guidance to come through and point me in a direction to something that takes me in a place much, much more expansive than perhaps I would have thought of on my own. Can you think of a situation when grace actually came in and touched your life?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't even share this that often. I wasn't able to give birth to children, and it was like so devastating to me. But then God's grace, I ended up being an elementary school teacher. I've taught children all over the world. I've spoken all over the world. I have the nonprofit that I started called She Elevates. So that was just God's grace of saying, okay, DeLores, you don't have your own biological child, which I do have 2 boys, because I've been married to my husband for 40-something years, and we have 2 boys, but God's grace allowed me to touch the heart of many children. And I remember
when we did a telephone call. We did a phone call when She Elevates had just come through. The insight of creating that had just come through to you.
Yes.
And that feels like grace to me, when that type of calling moves through you, and it's like it makes no sense. I think when grace comes through, or a calling moves through, and Amazing Woman's Day came exactly that way. It got a hold of me, and it still has a hold of me. Even if I want to put it on the side, it's not gonna have its way. You have to stay with it. It's like it's outside of my realm of control over this focus. And I think that when we're inspired in that way, when we're moved by a calling, when some purpose moves through us, like I think She Elevates did for you. Tell me a little bit about the feeling of when She Elevates, that idea moved through you.
Well, when I initially...
Tell us what it's about. Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. She Elevates is a nonprofit to teach young girls, to empower them to be confident leaders, to be entrepreneurs and CEOs. So we have a group of young ladies that we mentor. We do all kind of programs with them. We have an academy, which is coming up. Talk about pivot. We did the academy in person. Well, we know we can't do it in person this year, so we'll be doing it online. So that's reinventing. We're spending a lot of time, but I'm thinking now that it's going to be even better because we're creating these boxes for girls, the She Elevates box, and we'll mail them the box. And I mean, I'm getting all excited about the box, and I don't even get one. But they didn't have a box when we were in person. And then we were going to put like we had caps and gowns where they graduated in person, but now in the box they're going to have their cap and their T-shirt, and we're still going to do graduation. So sometimes when things, because I was of course a little like, oh, we're not going to be able to be in person. But now, Marsh, we can reach more girls all across the world. So sometimes when something like we just said, there's still joy with the bad or that's different, but use the grace, reinvent, and you can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you can. You can. And a lot of people, when I'm speaking to people all over the world, they say, well, DeLores, I'm too old and all that. Well, dreams don't come with age limits. You are not too old. You're not too old to reinvent yourself. You're not too old to do what you always wanted to do. Not too old.
Never,
Never.
never too old.
Never.
Yeah. And I love the idea. You know, we had the same experience with Amazing Woman Live, was a live event scheduled for April 1st. And it was sold out way weeks in advance. And I was
Oh, wow.
looking forward to having this event and being, you know, in community together, because, you know, I love community just as you do. And when we decided to cancel it, we right away went to live stream. And I had to walk through my own fears around that, because it was, first of all, letting go to allow something new to be created, and then walking through a new experience, because I'd never live streamed. Can you imagine? I've produced hundreds of events, but I had never done a live stream event. So it was about, let's just, you know, call in people that can support with that, and let's go for it. And ended up that we're, you know, so many more people reached, because we were, of course, we were global, not just a local event or an event that, you know, a handful of people were flying in for, but actually an event that many, many people all over the globe could join in. And that's exactly what happened. So I think that the faster we let go, you know, what I said earlier is the fastest we pivot, but it's really about letting go of the way we thought it was supposed to be. The faster we can let go of the way we thought it was supposed to be, because I remember my mindset, it shifted immediately when I thought, wait a minute, if this was always intended to happen, Amazing Woman Live was always intended to happen, it's not going to happen the way I thought it was, then how is it intended to happen? And the minute I shifted my mindset into opening up to those new ideas, new answers, and new solutions of the way it could take place, it was the level of enthusiasm and inspiration came through. So I think that that's what we're both saying, is that let go of the way we think it's supposed to be, or should have been, or thought it could have been, and open up to that new idea to come through.
Absolutely. Open up to the new ideas.
Have you picked up anything from maybe you had set over on the side? I know I'm working on 2 books right now. I'm about halfway through my next book, and then I have another book releasing right after that in early 2021. And that's been my focus, is really getting that creativity out of me and onto paper. So the book that I'm halfway through is really a book that I've been writing for a number of years. So it's about taking it off the shelf and making the time and focus for it. Do you have anything like that you've picked up off the shelf that you're working on?
We're just alike, of course. I am working on a book, but it's a children's book. So this is all new. I've written 4 books, but this is new. It's for children, and it's called I'm More Than Enough. It's really based around my experience of wanting to be a ballerina. And I'm so glad they did this to me. But when I was little, about, I think 5 or 6, about 6, I wanted to be a ballerina, and the dance troupe was coming to my school. And my best friend, by the way, who was still my best friend from when we were age 6 or so, they were coming to the school. had dance troupe all there, all ready. My mother's there. We're signing up for ballet. So I thought, and my mother signed me up for tap, Marsh. Tap. I wanted to be a ballerina more than anything, but they told my mom I was too fat. I was too fat, and I would do much better as a tap dancer. Isn't that something how people do that to people? And I mean, I think that shaped my whole world because I was like, no one else is going to tell me what I can and cannot do. So my little book, I'm More Than Enough, is going to be a children's book. And I just found my illustrator, so I'm all excited about her, and it's going to be good.
It's fantastic. I think that, more than anything, with all the clients that I work with, it's about what have you put on the shelf that you can now take off the shelf and begin to add energy to, bring some focus to, and get your mind focused on that next step that you'd like to take.
Yeah.
And you're back in your office right now, is that right?
I am. I shouldn't be still working, but you know how it goes. I am back in the office. I hadn't been here. I just probably last week was the first time I really came back to the office to work.
And how does that feel working in the office again rather than at home?
Well, I love our office, so that's a good thing. It's different though. It's a different feeling because you enter with a mask and all. Yeah, we still are practicing safe practices. You enter with a mask and gloves and all that. So it's different. But I didn't want to. I think I'm a little more just a little more disciplined when I'm in the office. And I have a home office and it's great, but I'm a little more disciplined.
It's harder when I've been had my office in my home for a lot of years. So I'm experienced with working at home, but there is a difference knowing that my home office I love, but I also can't get out as much as I used to. I used to find ways to get out. And now it seems like it's all about home office and working. But
Yeah,
so
I do that too, though.
If there was one thing that you found that you changed or you are changing through this experience, the essential shift that you're making. I know before we went on live, I was talking about how reconnecting with my friends from years and years, many years ago, many years. You're one of them. I think we were talking about this maybe 20 years ago.
Yes.
And reconnecting and letting them know how much I value them, letting them know how inspired I am by them, staying, just letting them know I love them and being very connected. That's something that I'm walking away with. How about for you? What's going on?
I think more of just being patient and being still. I wasn't very good at being still. And I found out that all that busyness isn't necessary.
No.
It's not necessary. And so I love the fact that I am still now much more than I was before. And it feels so good. And I thought that I needed to be busy, doing, but no.
There's a lot fell away that was not necessary.
Absolutely. And I won't go back to it. So whenever I won't say normal because we definitely don't have anything that's going to be anything like normal. But whenever we get back out and everything, I'm not going to be go, do. No way. No way.
Now, if somebody's listening right now and they're wondering what is stillness and how do they find it? What practice do you have? Do you suppose that you create stillness when you see yourself leaning in the direction of maybe working more than you know that you want to?
Well, I have, first of all, a thing called Take 24, Marsh. And Take 24 can help you in building your success, your emotions, whatever. So say, for example, if I get, and let's just say I'm ready to just go. I'll stop. And when I wake up in the morning, my first 24 seconds is to be thankful. Be thankful that I'm alive. And what am I going to do with my 24 minutes? My 24 minutes, maybe I'm going to go into, I have a sunroom, but it's a prayer room to me. And I read and I study. And for 24 minutes, I'm focused and praying and all that. And then the Take 24 can help you in many ways. For example, if my husband and I, because we don't always agree, believe it or not, we don't always agree. So we do what we call the Take 24 rule. And so Take 24 means maybe we need to take 24 hours before we can agree on it. Maybe we never will. But even like you get mad on an email or something, and instead of sending that email, Take 24 seconds to think about it, or 24 minutes, or 24 days, whatever it takes, take that 24. So to only take 24 has just kind of helped my whole life. I've just done it in so many. I might have to count down 24 seconds and say, just be still, Dolores. There's a commercial on by Calm. I love it. I think they have 10 seconds, but just stop for 24 seconds and do nothing. You can shift your thinking in 24 seconds.
So, I found an online meditation group that I had not been part of before, but I've been a meditator for a number of years. And I found a meditation group online, and at 6 a.m. every morning, they join this massive 8,000 people join to meditate. And I just plug into Zoom and for 20 minutes, it's about meditating and centering and getting grounded. And the difference it's made, this was not my practice was to meditate in the morning, but not at 6 a.m. Not sometimes it would be, I'd get up, I'd do things, and then I'd meditate. This is the minute that my eyes open, I'm in meditation, and it just anchors so much. And I speak about this often because I think it's made all the difference in the world in the way we can ground ourselves and the way we can really feel present to beginning our day. What it does to our creativity is through the roof.
It does.
Now we feel really safe in our new creativity. If there were some, I'm big on asking questions of people. I like to ignite creativity and ignite imagination through the power of asking questions. Is there one or two questions that you would leave with the audience today that they could ask themselves in order to move forward and into the next steps of their focus?
For sure. First of all, just ask yourself, who has God created me to be? Who am I to be? What am I going to leave in this earth? There is a quote by Chuck Palahniuk. It says, "We all die. The goal is not to live forever, but to create something that will." And I think that's kind of how She Elevates is. When I'm long gone, Dolores is gone, then She Elevates. Girls will be creating businesses all over this world. Girls will be more confident. One thing that mothers say about her daughter being in She Elevates is that she is confident. And that is a gift that God has given me. So I would just say, who has God created you to be? And then what's holding me back from being who God created me to be?
So good, Dolores. This is so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, it's and when I coach women, I love coaching women, and a lot of women want to be speakers. And of course, we're shifting all of that because things are gone online and all of that. But I'm really high on really finding out your purpose and really living that life, because that's what I'm all about. It's helping people become more confident and live their ideal life.
Yes, exactly. These are great questions that even if you feel as though you've been walking your purpose for some time, I think tuning in and asking these questions often allows us to refresh. I just created a course on our sacred why. And for me, it's about anchoring in that connection with what really gives me that sense of purpose, and what moves me, what motivates me, what inspires me, what activates my willingness to take action and move forward. Keeping my eye on my why, I think, is a really important question as well. As what is my why? Very much in alignment with exactly what you asked as well. So, Dolores, I love that we've connected. I love that we've known each other since the early days of Amazing Woman. We were trying to remember. It was one of the very first Amazing Woman events back. Amazing Woman's going to be 20 years old this coming year. And I'm very excited about a 20-year anniversary for this movement. And I'm so very honored and thrilled that, to call you my friend and my colleague, and just somebody that moves me to be a better woman, a better servant leader.
Well, I am honored to be here. You think about it, Marsh. I live a long way from California. I'm in Ohio, but I saw what you were doing and I was impressed by who you were. So I traveled from Ohio to California to be with you and take that experience. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. So I want your audience to just be who God created you to be. Don't worry about all the naysayers. Had I listened to all the people who said, Dolores, you can't. My guidance counselor said I can't go to college. I wanted to start a modeling agency for plus size women. I did that. One of the first in the country because people weren't models. But don't let anybody say that. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just do. Don't let COVID change your life in a negative way. Make it
No,
a
don't let
positive way.
COVID. That's right. Exactly. I love you so much. I'm so very happy that you're with
Oh,
us today. Thank you. And you're definitely an amazing woman and you definitely get it done.
I
That's
love
for
you.
sure. So I thank you so much. Thank you for all the wisdom, all the inspiration, all the enthusiasm that you bring to my life and to everyone.
Thank you so much, Marsha.
Okay. We'll see each other soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.